Howdy, pards. MrHolster here, just having a little coffee in the Tackroom. Ah, good stuff. Woohoo! I tell you, it's windy out there. I just came in from outside, and there's remnants of a cornfield from 4 miles away in between the two buildings. And it's so windy. I don't know if you're familiar with the Gould brothers. If you aren't, I'll put a link to their channel right up there. You might go and go check them out. They're very entertaining. They put on a shooting show using shotguns. And they're not far from here. And their shed blew down this morning. And I shouldn't laugh, but it's funny. You gotta have a sense of humor, or how do you survive? I tell you, this is the windiest. I told to my wife the other day, this is the windiest place I've ever lived in my life. The only thing that comes close is my time I spent down in West Texas. A little more dusty there, but in the summertime, during the dry season, it gets pretty dusty here too. Always a wind coming across this place, just the way we're situated. This is what we're going to look at today. We're looking at the two hammerless LCRs, and by two I mean the two weights, the lightweight and the heavyweight. This one here happens to be the Ruger LCR in 357 Magnum. This would be the heavyweight version. An interesting gun. They have tried to make this gun as light as they possibly can, and they've done that by, number one, every one of the cylinders is as fluted as much as they could to reduce the amount of weight on the cylinder. Number two, they've used a polymer fire control housing is what they're calling it. It's the area that covers the hammer that the grip is retained by, the grip frame, and the trigger guard. That's all polymer, leaving you with this area here that holds the cylinder and the barrel, the frame, and this one happens to be a 4000 series stainless steel monolithic frame, and of course they use a stainless steel barrel liner, stainless steel cylinder, and the result is an incredibly lightweight, yet very, and I'm going to say easy to shoot, only because I've had a lot of experience with small revolvers. You know, these little tiny pocket revolvers are one of the most difficult guns to really master and become really good at it. And I spent a lot of time doing it. I used to carry a Smith & Wesson 642 in an ankle holster as a backup in my prior life. Absolutely incredible gun. And I went down to gun sight a couple times on that. I think the last course I took with that gun was the Advanced Tactical Pistol course. A little challenging, keeping up with everything with the reloading. Yeah, because everything down there is really geared to a 1911. Pretty much. But went down to gun sight numerous times, and that was one of the things I really wanted to do, is get good with that gun. Even though it was just a backup, I wanted to be as good on that gun as I was with my main firearm. So I've had a lot of trigger time on that gun, and you're wondering why I'm telling you this. Well, Ruger here talks about having a special cam in this that's reduces the friction on the trigger to make it a smoother, lighter trigger. And I'm going to test that right now and tell you what I think and compare it to a 642, and I can because I got so much time with that 642. I've shot it so much. I think I can just pull this and give you a fair comparison. I think it's the second half that ends up really being lighter. I think the initial pull of the trigger is almost identical, but it is a little lighter at the second half of the trigger pull. I do think it is. Although it's probably negligible, probably wouldn't get me to buy this gun over a 642. What does get me to buy this gun over a 642, though, is the front sight. The front sight, it comes standard with a ramp sight that's pinned and easily removed and replaceable with what I have here, a tritium night sight, which if you're going to use the gun at night, you really need a night sight because you got to see your sight. Yeah, it's not good when they ask you, well, please describe your sight picture, and you go, I don't know, I couldn't see anything. Yeah, because that's the first thing they're going to ask you. So that's one of the reasons I like this, because the front sight is so easily removed and the night sight put on. Much easier than it is on a Model 642. Although it can be done if you take it to a gunsmith and have them do it. There you have that. Just a fantastic gun. This is a 357 Magnum. Has a 5-shot cylinder. It's also available in a 9mm by use of moon clip. Again, a 5-shot cylinder. And a 6-shot cylinder in the 327 Magnum. All available with this monolithic stainless steel frame, which weighs 3 ounces more than the lightweight version, which is right here. This one happens to be the lightweight version in a 22 long rifle, has an 8-shot cylinder. And look at how they fluted that cylinder to keep the cylinder as light as possible. They really did try to keep these guns as light as possible. Now this is a lighter gun, about 3 to 4 ounces lighter than the other gun, due to the monolithic frame being made out of aircraft grade 7000 series aluminum. Yeah. Considerably lighter frame. Again, you have the stainless steel barrel liner and the polymer trigger housing and the same cam on that smooth. And these triggers are really nicely done. Very smooth trigger, which is really important to me. To me, it's important when I buy a gun that's double action only that it has a smooth trigger on it and it does not have some sort of serrations that are going to dig into my finger. And this one, again, not as light a trigger pull because they have to put a heavier spring in there because of the 22. Yeah, believe it or not, this is a little heavier trigger pull than on that 357 Magnum. And this, of course, is available in the 22 long rifle with an 8-shot cylinder, 22 Magnum with a 6-shot cylinder, and the 38 Special with a 5-shot cylinder. Again, 3 different calibers for the lightweight and 3 different calibers for what I'm calling the heavyweight version of the hammerless LCR. And I'm saying hammerless because they do have a limited amount of these guns available in the LCX, which has a hammer and makes it a single action, double action. So you can cock the hammer first if you want. Yeah. Which we'll talk about that because our time's up now. Thanks for tuning in, guys. If you like my channel, please subscribe. Till next time, go out, stay safe.